What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we are going to do an unboxing of the Roland Aerophone AE10, and I'm also going to play some first notes and give my initial review of the product. Before I do the unboxing, I want to give you a little brief history of my use of wind machines. I had a WX5 for several years, and this was a long time ago. Back when MIDI was the thing, when everything had to be hooked up with MIDI cords. And between the batteries and the MIDI cables and all that, I hardly ever used it. It was a pretty good instrument. It worked fairly well, but just trying to hook it up and use it functionally just took way too much effort for me. Last week, I bought a Akai Iwi USB, and it was awful. It is the exact opposite of playing a saxophone, which I guess I should expect it to be a different instrument. But the way it is marketed is like it's an electronic saxophone. It is not at all. It is so counterintuitive that after 5 hours of practicing it, I could still barely play a G scale and get over the range of the instrument. So as I was looking for other alternatives, the Roland AE10, the Aerophone AE10 popped up. And I watched a whole bunch of videos on it, and this looks like it might be the solution that I'm looking for. It's built to be similar to a saxophone. It has the same fingerings and same keys as a saxophone, so I'm really hoping that this is going to help me out. My idea behind playing a wind machine is not to perform with it. That's not what my goal is. My goal is to use it to input into Sibelius when I'm writing out parts, and to be able to use it when I'm inputting parts into Reason when I'm doing recording sessions and that kind of stuff. I'm a terrible piano player, so I'm hoping that if I can get this thing down fairly easily, then this will be a great solution for me. Okay, so let's unbox it. Oh, I almost dropped it. Okay, so it comes with a case, the Roland case. This is already way nicer than the Akai. The Akai just came in styrofoam. It had nothing. So this is nice that it has a case if you're going to take it somewhere. And it comes in another bag. That's it. The Aerophone AE10 in graphite. So just looking at it. Okay, wow. Okay, so it has the buttons like a saxophone, the keys like a saxophone does. With the Akai Iwi, they were touch sensitive, so you couldn't actually touch it. If your fingers were touching the note, a note would play, which is the worst thing you can ever do when you're a saxophone player, because you want your fingers on the keys all the time, or at least really close. So whenever you would touch it, you would be playing notes, so it would sound like a cat running down a piano. This feels pretty good. Feels pretty solid. You've got your table here, which the Akai did not have a table. Everything was on the side. You have your side keys. You have your low keys. Everything just feels good just before I even play anything. Oh, you have your front F key. You have your bis key. Yeah, this thing it definitely feels like a saxophone. Even when I have it here, when I have it here, it feels a lot like a saxophone, as much as an electric instrument can. But like the palm keys are all right where I want them. This, I believe, is to stop spit from going down into the keys. So what is so we have a reed on here. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We got a mouthpiece cap. Cool. A little neck strap. And this is great. It comes with a power supply. This is great because I remember with the WX5 that I had, it was such a nightmare to constantly try to put batteries in that thing and keep it running. It was just a disaster. But with this, especially if I'm working on my computer, I can just plug it in and go. This one also does take batteries. And from what I understand, there's also internal sounds and internal speakers. So when I play it, even if I'm not hooked up to anything, I can still hear what's coming out of the Aerophone. All right, so when I was trying to do all of my research to find out how easy it was to play, there was nothing that showed me that. So what I'm going to do right now is put some batteries in this thing and play it. So you're going to hear the very first time I play it. It could sound terrible. It could sound okay. I have no idea. I've never played one. But I'm going to play it for the first time and give you guys an idea of what it's like when you play it for the first time and you've never played an electronic instrument or like an Aerophone. All right, so let me put some batteries in here. All right, so power. Okay, it's coming on. Alto sax, E flat. So it has like a little, this is really nice too. It has, up here. It has a display that's telling you what's going on. With the Akai, you had to hook it up, with the Akai iwi, you had to hook it up to your computer, and the software came in a CD, which tells you how old it is. You can't even put a CD on a computer anymore. And the program was just absolutely horrible to try to get anything to work. And then you had to update it, and the update didn't work. It was just awful. So this is nice that everything is on board here. So I'm going to plug it in here, and I'm just going to play it and see what happens. Wish me luck. All right, my very first note. It actually works, and I can actually play it. After practicing the Akai iwi for about 5 hours, I couldn't play a scale. I couldn't get over the octave keys. It has octave rollers, which just are so counterintuitive to anything you're going to do. This actually, you can play it right away. So I'll play a D scale. I think this might be the solution to what I'm looking for. If I can play a D scale right away. Obviously, the sound that's coming out of this is not cool. I would never use the sound. Again, I'm going to hook it into my computer and use sounds through Reason. But all I care about is having a wind controller where I can actually play it. Let's play a song. Okay, I can kind of play a song, not really. I need to figure out how to articulate. Okay, so the way you usually tongue is underneath the reed, pushing it up. Obviously, with an electronic instrument like this, you can't push it up. Like I'm trying to tongue and nothing's happening. So you have to get your tongue up in between the air to stop the air sensor, or in between the reed and the mouthpiece to stop the air sensor. Woo! All right. So we have extra octave keys. If you look at the back, you have an octave key that goes up an octave key that goes up 2 octaves, an octave key that goes down an octave, an octave key that goes down 2 octaves. So obviously, having never played this before, I'm going to have to mess around with it and see how it actually works. Okay, so right now, only the regular octave key is working. And I remember reading something or seeing a video saying that one of the settings was that you could set it up just like a regular saxophone. That way, all the extra octave keys won't get in your way. So I'm sure if I mess around with it and find the right settings, I'll be able to do all 4 octaves. I also remember reading that altissimo fingerings work. So I'm going to play a regular A and an altissimo A and see if that works. Yeah, so you can actually use altissimo notes. So if you're a regular saxophone player, a good saxophone player, and you just want to play the way you regularly play, this seems like a really, really good alternative. Like your altissimo notes work. Your side keys are there. Your table is there. There is this key in the back right here, and it kind of has a joystick kind of feel to it. I think it does note bends and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to mess with that a little bit and see what happens. Okay, so there are a couple of different functions. If I push it down, it goes flat, so I'm scooping out the note. If I go up, obviously it raises the pitch, and down it lowers the pitch. If I go to the right, it doesn't do anything. If I go to the left, it growls. Which is kind of cheesy and ridiculous, but cool at the same time. Because saxophone players growl. Like, we put stuff on our notes. We want to split notes. Let me see if I can do that with my throat. No, so if I try to bend or do anything with my tongue, nothing is working at all. Ooh, okay. All right, so obviously I'm gonna need some work to like make this thing feel more natural, but I can actually play it. I can play notes on it. What's up, everyone? It is a day later, and I have practiced my Aerophone for about 2 hours last night, and it's pretty amazing the difference just 2 hours makes. I also went through the controls and found a whole bunch of stuff that made playing as a novice, as a beginner, way easier. So first, I'll play something for you, and you can hear a difference between how I was kind of fighting through it yesterday and I'm a little more comfortable today. So this thing is super easy to figure out if you are a saxophone player. In 2 hours, I got it to sound fairly decent, whereas with the Akai EWI USB, in 5 hours, I could barely play a scale and get over the octaves. So here are a couple settings that made my life way easier. Basically, I backed everything off. I made it really simple to play. What's great about this is it has settings for nearly everything you're going to do on it. So the first thing I did was turn off all the extra octave keys. So as you can see, again, I showed you that there are 4 octave keys. I turned it so that it only has this one. The second thing I did was turn off the bend key. And the third thing I did was change the key, I don't know what the right word is. I made it so that the keys were way more responsive, which is kind of counterintuitive to what you would think you would be doing the first time you play it. But when I had it before, it felt like there's a bunch of latency. When I put the key setting, whatever it's called, on 3, it just made perfect sense. My fingers were exactly where I wanted them to be. Doing all of that just makes it way easier to play. Now, as I get to play this thing and get to know it better, obviously I'm going to turn some more of those things on. I also turned off the altissimo fingerings because I noticed when I was a little sloppy, if one of my fingers came up, I would get some kind of altissimo note popping out. So backing it down and making it really basic really helps a lot. And then again, as I get used to this thing, I'll turn on some octaves, I'll turn on the pitch bender, I'll do all that other kind of stuff. But again, if you are looking for a wind machine, if you're looking for a electronic wind machine, this is the one, I'm telling you. Especially if you're a saxophone player, you'll be able to play this thing in a day or two, and you'll feel super comfortable on it in probably a couple weeks. And within a month or so, you'll probably be able to do just about anything you want. The hardest thing to figure out is the octave keys, because it doesn't feel super great. You're pushing down, and there's not a big difference between the two. I wish they had like a different texture, and that the octave key popped up a little bit. And then tonguing is really strange, because you have to actually put your tongue in between the reed and the mouthpiece. But besides that, like, it feels really good. Like, I just would try things on my saxophone, not even thinking that I'm on the EWI, and it would work. So that is my full review. If you're looking for a wind machine, Aerophone AE10. That's it. Thanks a lot.